it's not necessarily saying they forgot about where they're from. It's just they had to readapt, and some people don't even know. Like, I'm just saying though.
Yeah,
That's just
how
how it
she
be.
said,
That's just how it be.
assimilate. You know, once you live in a place, and then you start to think like the people
You got to.
around you.
It's your habitat
right?
now.
And how we said one time, if people went in the uproar, it was like, if you can make it in the United States, you can make it anywhere. And we felt that way because of like the social issues we deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Right? There, they may look at us like once they move there and stay there for a little while, they may start looking at us like, man, life is so easy up here. Y'all need to come on.
What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction.
Yes,
Super
yes.
excited about this video. If you're new to us
And
we're new to you, make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell
because we're on the road to 200K.
And we cannot get there without you guys. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Hold on though, like this is a different one. The Garifuna people.
Yeah,
they don't know about this one, huh, C?
Yes, I had to go find this one.
Alright now.
I felt like because of the work that we do on this channel,
a
lot of people need to know this. You know, we talk about bridging the gap. I think this one would be one that bridges the gap because a part of my family history, you know how you have four, like your dad has his mom and dad. Your mom has her mom and dad.
Them neck of the woods.
So out of four of my generation people, whatever, one branch of my mother's family tree.
Ooh, that's a cool little branch right there.
Came from the Garifuna.
I'm so thankful they was fruitful because Lord. Hey, y'all just was smiling and talking and kept it pushing.
And kept it pushing.
You will never be. Man, I'm telling you.
Yes.
Hey, we appreciate you guys for bringing in videos and requesting it to us. But today we got one for y'all.
We got one for y'all.
We got one for y'all.
They came from Africa, but the year and situation isn't exact. Some researchers say they arrived on slave boats that shipwrecked in the Caribbean in the 1600s. Others say they came to the Americas as early as the 1300s. Either way, a group of Africans made their home on the island of St. Vincent, where they mixed with the native people. The new people became the Garifuna. St. Vincent was a battleground in the 17th and 18th centuries. The natives, British, French, and Dutch all had claims on the island. In 1763, the Europeans signed a treaty that gave St. Vincent to the British Empire, but it didn't guarantee control of the island. British forces battled the Garifuna for decades until 1797, when the battered Garifuna finally surrendered. The British then exiled the defeated nation to the island of Roatan. It wasn't long before unsustainable conditions there forced the outcasts to relocate. The coasts of Honduras, Belize, Guatemala, and Nicaragua became the new home for the people. There are now an estimated 300,000 Garifuna in Central America and another 100,000 in the United States. This is a story about the Garifuna.
La cultura garífuna se generaliza más que todo en costumbres, creencias, religión. Tenemos las danzas, las gastronomías. Es una cultura que es rica en todo.
So y'all know on the channel we're always, when we're talking about the African diaspora, we always say, well, this is our tribe and this is y'all tribe, and it's just like, you know, the connecting the roots and the branches. And I know a lot of people don't know about this here in the United States.
Yeah, of course.
And I know sometimes I hear people Afro-Caribbeans will say, y'all came from us. And they're saying it out of context because not every African American came from the Garifunas. So like I told y'all with my family tree, the four parents, only one branch came from there. From my family tree. But this culture right here, it's always been a dream of mine to take my grandmother back to her people. You know, so
yeah, this was up. It's beautiful.
So yeah, working on that.
That's why it's so important to understand the different, the amounts of people that was able to escape slavery and the people who got dropped off during slavery and where they got relocated at. Because regardless of how different the times was at that time, they still made a way to build.
Right.
And they still made a way to, you know, multiply. And a lot of people don't know these groups. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they just think slavery, African American, period. But then it was all branched off in different locations of the world. Like, if you watch Dragon Ball Z, when they do the 7 Dragon Balls, after that one wish, they gotta go refine them again. That's how we are. We like the Dragon Balls. You feel me? We all got that little secret sauce to us.
Yeah, and these were the ones who did not get enslaved.
They
fought.
They fought, though.
But they didn't get enslaved.
Our culture is like a train. And the road where the train rolls is our language.
Despite the fact that our ancestors were exiled and we ended up in different countries, we actually still identify as Garifunas and we can communicate among each other, irregardless of the country, in our own language.
They are people who live along the coast. They're very comfortable at sea. And a lot of the men, you know, started working on their boats.
Como la gente fueron de marino, se quedan en los Estados Unidos, ya la familia de uno son unidas, se lleva uno, se van 5.
I consider them a transnational group, meaning that they have homelands within the United States.
I like how she said that when 1 go, 5 go.
Yeah.
Bro, like coming up, it was never, can I go to the store? Take your brother and your sisters.
Yeah,
really?
You move and take the rest of them.
If you go to your cousin's house, man, if you chill with your cousin and be like, all right, y'all go outside. No, all y'all go outside. Like, it was always 1 go, 5 go.
You know what's crazy? Although we all look alike, we're all very different. And although, how she said, 1 go, they all go, not everybody stay connected to their roots. And I would love to know, if you are a Garifuna, I would love to know, do your family, especially if you're in the United States, and Belize, do your family know about your roots and your history? From Africa to St. Vincent, then Honduras, to wherever you are now. Because my grandmother, my great-grandmother, is the baby of a Garifuna woman. But me, I'm what, the 3rd, 4th generation? I'm her great-grandchild. We don't know our history like that. She has been able to tell us, but it don't go past Honduras. And that's why I say I want to take her back to her people. Because we got to know. Yeah,
distance always creates a cutoff, man. Distance creates a cutoff.
And you know what? I can't really blame her for that because her mother died in her 30s. You know, so I can't really blame her for that. But
I mean, but that's just the reality of it. Distance creates a cutoff. Like, we can say that we're from Africa, but the distance and the cutoff from the information allows us to not want to know, but it doesn't allow us to know because it's a cutoff to it. So as long as you're cut off from something, how you know it exists? Right. Until that whoever can mend that gap again, like. Right. Yeah.
Ooh.
Within Guatemala, within Nicaragua, and Honduras.
So they kind of are, you know, New York, Miami, and Houston, New Orleans, Chicago, LA, San Francisco is also another place.
We're your neighbors. We go to church with you. You see us in your supermarket, but people just think we're usually African American or anything, and they don't know anything else about us.
We see somebody and by phenotypes, by just how they look, skin color, also by hair, we just assume that you can either be white or black. It's simple categories.
The really great thing about learning about the Garifuna is that you realize that those racial categories are super, super simple. And they don't encapsulate the massive complexity that really exists. Being black doesn't mean X, Y, Z. It can mean all this other stuff as well.
That's a bar.
The Garifuna just break all kinds of, assumptions that people have about all that stuff.
When you move to the United States, it's a lot easier to assimilate and just get accustomed to the American way of life, and you get kind of, lost.
Principalmente viviendo en la ciudad de Nueva York, todo eso es rápido. No se dirige más hacia la cultura, sino que hacia lo que está ahí presente. Me fui adaptando a la vida ya.
I was young when I left from here, so I ain't know no better.
I was African American.
The negativity caught my eye, not the positive thing. The girls, nice cars, clothes, the fast money.
What you hear them saying basically is this is what happened when a location swallows you, takes you in, makes you have to adapt to the environment that you're in. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So they know what was going on, but at the same time, they have to readapt themselves to the living and the way things are.
Right, definitely, and especially y'all gonna hear me bring it back to my grandmother a lot because that's the only image I have. I have never met another person who identified as Garifuna. My grandmother was very, very young, so all she know is here.
Right.
And her dad being an African American man, and her having children with, a child, because she only has one child, with an African American, and then, even then, her marrying a man who was African American and Native American. So it's like her way of life has always been African American.
I feel that.
Well, I mean, she was born there, but,
It's like someone moving to Africa, and they from somewhere else in Louisiana, I don't know why, but from Louisiana or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. After a few days, a few months of living, their attire probably starts to change a little. The accent is still there, but because they don't hear no one else talking like that, the accent fades.
Yeah, how mine did.
Right? The food, they have to readapt to the new living of the food, you know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily saying they forgot about where they're from. It's just they had to readapt, and some people don't even know. Like, I'm just saying though.
Yeah,
that's
how
just how
she said, assimilate. Once you live in a place, and then you start to think like the people
you got to
around you.
It's your habitat now.
And how we said one time, if people went in the uproar, it was like, if you could make it in the United States, you could make it anywhere. Mm-hmm. And we felt that way because of like the social issues we deal with on a daily basis. Yeah. Right? There, they may look at us like once they move there and stay there for a little while, they may start looking at us like, man, life is so easy up here. Y'all need to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tengo 2 hijos aquí, me siento orgullosa de ellos. Yo cuando estaba en Honduras yo no usaba droga, yo nunca sabía de que iba a usar droga, pero más sin embargo aquí la vine a usar.
La emigración se empezó a dar dentro de la cultura garífuna por busca de una mejor oportunidad y buscar el famoso sueño americano, donde yo podría decir de que en vez de un sueño americano se convirtió en una pesadilla americana.
That was part of the gang over there.
Hold on, before they continue this conversation, because she was in New Orleans, I have to make this comment. I have never seen a person who looked like me but speak, I wouldn't say Spanish, speak Spanish.
Right, yeah.
I've never seen that. And I just told y'all, I've never seen someone who identified with the culture. We always knew about it.
That's crazy. That makes sense.
We always knew about it, but there was a limit to what our grandmother could teach us. So it's like, seeing that she was in New Orleans, and I know there's a big population there in my own research. Mm-hmm. So if y'all my cousins.
But she know her tongue, though. She know what she talking about.
Yes.
And she can say it the way she want to. It's crazy what I'm finna say, but my first encounter like that was when I moved here.
Yeah.
And I started hearing Africans speaking their tongue around me.
And everybody who look like us, and they start talking. Like, we're in a store, and we see a person, we're like, oh, they're African-American. And then they start talking, and we start looking at each other, and we start looking at them like,
no, real
where you
talk.
from?
Because, like, the Mexicans, like, they would get together. They can talk, they talk.
Yeah.
And they be laughing loud, talking like they talk in their Spanish language. When I seen the Africans pull up, them boys started talking how they talking over their phones, talking to each other, and they loud too. Yeah. And I be like, interesting. Yo, hey, let me holler at you real quick, my boy. Like, that's our talk. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because we the only ones who know one language. We want to know the language.
Like, what's y'all talking about? What is that? What is you saying? What's that, boy? What you just told him? Oh, I just told him that we finna head out or something. Like, you know, it's just like, I've never, it's my first time encountering that.
To us, it sounds exotic. It sounds intriguing. Like, we want to know, you know, but yeah. It's we're gonna have to rewind it back.
Unless being from the South, you hear French. You know, you gotta say that now. I can't say this is my first time hearing it. From a cultural perspective, from, you know, Africa or Honduras, or like how the Mexicans do it from Spanish, like, but
and we could recognize the language.
French,
we
though,
know the language
we know
a little bit.
French.
We know it. We don't speak it fluently, but we know it a little bit.
So we got a little pinch of that. But now that's heavy, like how we hear it from.
I was a blood. Yeah. Being a part of a gang is rough.
Oh, he was a blood.
It's rough, real rough.
El sueño americano se convirtió en una pesadilla americana.
That was part of the gang over there. I ain't gonna lie.
Which one?
I was a blood.
Yeah. Okay.
Being a part of a gang is rough. It's rough, real rough. I got locked up for it. Did things for it. Cause I had somebody with a pistol. I ain't shoot him, but I hit him. I did 6 years, and then they deported me back here.
De 20 que salen de aquí del pueblo para los Estados Unidos, yo creo que por lo menos 5 o 6 regresan deportados.
Muchas personas están trayendo lo que es la cultura norteamericana aquí. Entonces nosotros estamos viendo que lo que es nuestra cultura se nos está como yendo de nuestra mano.
Ahí que esa en la cultura garífuna que muchos de nosotros, los garífunas, no lo vemos.
It's not that they rejected the culture, it's not that they were totally consumed by the American culture, it was just that they didn't have an alternative.
Alternative.
Both. I don't speak Garifuna. You know, I know a little bit, and I didn't learn as a kid.
I was born in Long Beach, California. My whole family is from Belize. I'm the first generation born in the States. I've been listening to Griffin music since I was young. Never knew what they were saying, but it's just like a language that my mom and, you know, our family uses, but for our generation, it's just, you know, English, and I guess they look at it as, you know, we're in the States now and we're learning all kinds of other things that have to do with, you know, this culture.
Quiero creer que cuando usted está perdiendo algo es cuando usted siente la importancia de ese algo y es cuando usted lo quiere rescatar, lo quiere valorar.
That's so powerful.
And if you come to me, Garifuna, make some noise!
Whatever we want to do with the future of the Garifuna, this is the moment to take the action.
The strength of the Garifuna people is Aruboni Amurunoni. I for you and you for me.
No matter, like, I was born here in America, or somebody's born in Honduras, born in Guatemala, born in Belize, that we're all still the same, and that we all have something to offer each other, you know, different insights.
Now that is a history I wish was taught.
That's so much though. See, to say that just that one. That's so much.
But it's important. They were not enslaved. That is important, because just looking at a person, if they're not, look, the lady that was just speaking, I would just think she's African American. I wouldn't even know.
But they tapped into the culture.
You know, that is important. That's why I don't like the way African American history is presented in school. Because we were more than just arrive here.
Right.
Tell us about who we was before. Let's speak on the Garifunas, right? Africa. Oh, okay. So how I speak, I'm a writer, so I have a lot of like outlines in my head, like, you know, thought bubbles. Yeah. So
just connecting dots.
Came from Africa, had a shipwreck, landed in St. Vincent, fought the people.
Right.
Got exiled, and then migrated to North America. At the end of the day, where we all came from. Look how protective of their culture they are. Look how protective of our African American culture we are.
100%.
Look at our Afro-Caribbean people and how protective of their culture they are. Like I said before, for months, I've been saying it for months, it's like we're all just ethnic groups in the diaspora who just lost our way from each other. And I'm always going to go back to the letter, because the letter is like a welcome video.
It is, bro. Like, that pull up is too strong.
Because what she said in that letter was so profound, and I want that letter to just be heard. It needs to continue to be heard. It needs to continue to be heard, because it's so important about the roots and the branches and how we all just lost our way from each other.
The disconnect, everything.
Yes.
Everything.
But although you know, the branch broke, we did the best we could with where we were. And we created our own little cultures. But at the end of the day, we are the diaspora.
We stopped looking for answers through other races and started embracing who we are.
And where we are.
Mm-hmm. And that way, by doing so, you know, the things that we love to do is going to present itself. It's going to be front street to everyone else when they see the culture. So, and that's how you slide out. If you love a certain style dance, embrace that dance with your children, with your siblings, with friends. Like, embrace that. Let that be what they know you for, in a sense. Not in totality, but in a sense, like, this is how we get down, you know? So it's just so much that we as people need to embrace and let out. Yeah. I feel like we hold in too much. We also want to be hard, play shy. We have a lot of other things that we try to preserve for ourselves, but we need to embrace more.
Yeah, embrace who we are.
Embrace more.
And when we talk about finding our roots, it's not so much as going back to the African continent and assimilate. It's about embracing who we are, where our people came from, our story, and connecting it. That's all it's about.
That's
it's
purpose.
not about, I'm going back to Africa. Forget this African American culture. That's not what it's about.
You don't do that. Don't do that.
It's not about forgetting the Garifuna. It's about embracing the people you are descended from in that culture, but also embracing the motherland too.
Man, I'm gonna do a shout out real quick, and we randomly do these, but it's Lady Teresa A. Wachera, 1034. Teresia, she made a mention. She said, I think African Americans need to tell their stories when they come over to Africa. And by doing so, tell it through the churches, teaching us, tell us through the schools, teaching us, because there's a lot, like you mentioned, there's a lot of information that's not necessarily the information that we need to know who we are, but to know of others. But we have little to know about ourselves. So if we go to any location, that's that word again, embrace who you are and let people know who you are so they can have a real understanding on who you are, not forgetting where you come from.
Right.
And say, I'm going to just reinvent myself here, but relating it, connecting it.
Connecting the dots.
Bridging the gap. You know what I'm saying?
Bridging the gap. Yes. I want to do a poll. How many of y'all knew about the Garifuna culture?
Yeah.
Because remember what I told you about my grandmother? And this is what really made me go find this video for us. my grandmother identified as an African American woman because she was raised here.
Right.
You know, her mother came from Honduras, but her dad was African American. And she married an African American man, had a child. When that divorce dissolved, she married an African American man with, well, he was biracial, African American, Native American, together. You know, so she hasn't been around a Garifuna. You know, so I would love to know how many of y'all knew about this.
Hey, that's another conversation I could dive into with that one, but
oh, we didn't stop for a while.
We're gonna keep going.
Okay, keep going.
Regardless of whether it's the home country or whether it's here, I adapt and I can continue to promote, nurture the culture.
Right, basically.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Basically.
Let's listen to what he said. Let's digest that a little bit. Regardless if it's the home country or here, he adapt and continues to nurture the culture.
That's basically what we just said.
Is that not what we've been preaching?
That's basically what we just said. Yeah.
Adapt.
That's fine.
And nurture. Adapt and nurture. That's your homework for today.
He didn't say he didn't say uproot and replant. He said adapt and then nurture. Nurture. Yes. Start nurturing the seeds. Start nurturing the ground. Start tilling it. You know what I'm saying?
So the Demouchets, what are you doing?
What are y'all doing? What is this for? Why y'all talking? Oh, y'all don't have no understanding. Y'all just one-minded. Y'all don't have.
We nurturing.
We're adapting.
The diaspora.
Nurturing. Yeah.
And other cultures.
Big facts.
We're nurturing.
Yeah.
We us and we nurture. Okay.
There you go.
Good afternoon to all of you listening to LaBuga.com radio.
My man got a radio.
101 people listening online right now, plus the other people who are listening who are not connected to Facebook.
Places far away as Guatemala, you know, people are listening in the Garifuna villages. People are very excited to know that we support the Garifuna music and that we do what we do because of the love of the culture, you know. We don't get paid for this. Nobody does.
Radios, we have more music 24/7, the only radio station on the air online that plays Garifuna music 24/7, and also in Spanish and in Garifuna and in English. So, hey, que motia, wabina ha, wafedu ha.
And so in my research, I look at Facebook as a way for transnational immigrants to stay in touch, to communicate with family back home, with friends and families in other cities.
Ahorita mismo mira cómo está Facebook. Está saturado de Garifuna. Ellos bajan la música, meten la foto, ponen los eventos que están pasando en aquel pueblo, ponen los eventos que están pasando en Nueva York, en la comunidad Garifuna.
Así, no importa dónde un Garifuna esté, él puede llegar a ser parte de ello y poder ver y sentir también lo que está aconteciendo.
Por medio de ese Facebook conocí a una persona que él me va a enseñar a escribir el Garifuna. De hecho, pongo unos mensajes, a veces lo poco que sé en Garifuna, pongo los mensajes en Facebook, lo pongo en Garifuna.
Many people have asked me the question, do you think that the Garifuna language is going to become extinct? And my response has always been no. Not only no, but emphatically no.
Garifuna American Heritage Foundation United. It was basically an organization geared towards reacculturation.
And my response...
My bad. He just used a more educated word instead of no. You say, yeah. That was funny.
So we have told y'all about AAVE being developed on the plantations, but we have not told y'all about the secret African American language. And we are not going to do a video on that language because, again, it was secret. And you never know what the future may hold.
Right.
You know, but the language is called Tutnese. And just by them saying the Garifuna language, I didn't know they had a language. It's not just a culture. They got languages and customs too.
Yeah.
You know, so when people say African Americans don't have a culture, we do. You know,
we do.
And just seeing so many similarities between our ethnic groups when it comes to the diaspora is like we are so much more alike than y'all think we're different. So keep that in mind.
It's always been no. Not only no, but emphatically no.
Garifuna American Heritage Foundation United. It was basically an organization geared towards reacculturating the Garifuna people here in the United States.
We have this classroom that is full of people every Saturday, learning their language, learning about their history, about their culture.
I mean, I'm curious about it, and that's why I'm here. I'm trying to learn more about Garifuna culture. I want to learn the language.
It is a regular verb.
We're preserving it, protecting it, so the next generation will have it for them, waiting for them.
Or I teach a little drumming. A little language, a little singing in Garifuna. Gayumati, Fa. Take your papers.
To see them playing the drums, to see them singing in Garifuna, you know, to see them enjoying it, it's can't really describe it. As a parent, you know, when you see your kids happy, it makes you happy, it makes you feel good. You know, it's a parent's responsibility to pass on their culture, to teach their kids, to raise them. And
Who them children look like?
Girl, children? Who the children look like?
Who the children look like?
No, who they look like? Who they look like?
Their complexions.
Oh, okay. You want me to say it?
Oh.
I don't know. You want me to say it?
We're not filming.
So when my children, our children was born, I'm a very peanut buttery brown type of individual, you feel me? My children was so bright. Their hair texture was so sandy looking. Like almost like not the print on the cheetah, but the overlay of the cheetah without the prints. That sandy-ish, like it was sandy. And I was like, see what's going on?
They look just like your mama.
No, real talk. They look just like my mother. And I'm looking at them babies like,
no,
oh.
my mother.
They look like my mama too, though.
But we ain't talking about that.
I know. My mama's
Talk
a
about
dark woman, but our babies with the, okay, complexion-wise, they are very, very, very high yellow.
High yellow.
My wife's mother is very high yellow. My wife's mother's mother was more like a reddish, sandy-ish, yellowish, but more of a reddish. But then you go to her mother, and she got this like really silky
brown.
Cinnamon,
Silky
like
brown.
color, like. And I'm like, okay, I understand. But when I first seen it, like first one, then my second, then my third, I was like, okay, now I see what's going on here.
And my nieces and nephews, no, not really my nieces and my one nephew, like they look similar to those children. Not complexion-wise, but it's just like if I was to show y'all my great-grandmother, the one I told y'all about, it's like a complexion, and her hair is so gray now, but it almost look purple, and it's silky. It's a distinctive color and complexion.
It's like on your side of the family, your complexion is very noticeable.
Yeah.
Yeah, your mama's side. It's like, it's real noticeable. But on my side, it's like the features are very strong. Yeah, so.
I didn't have that, so that's something that I want to give them.
That's what's up. Ooh, you feeling it? He on time. Ooh, he ain't late with this one.
What we gonna do is catch that beat.
We gonna catch the beat. Now, if y'all watched at the beginning, they mentioned how the Garifuna people lived by the water, and it was water people.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to see that they're showing this part with them casting the nets and fishing and doing a lot of that things of nature. Being just fish lovers, like we love seafood, y'all.
We love seafood.
Seafood is always in our
yeah,
we just love seafood.
What Garifuna culture was 300 years ago or 200 years ago is not going to be the same that it is today. Lots of things have changed, some things have been lost, some things have been gained, some things have been modified.
Like that's in the cut.
I feel like the book on Garifuna and their identity is continuously being written.
What I think is being preserved is identity as Garifuna, right? as just the sense that I am Garifuna. Whether I speak the language, whether I know how to dance mascaro isn't so crucial as do I identify with my community.
Entonces tenemos que combinar el pasado con el presente. Solo así se puede sobrevivir.
It's just amazing, bro. Like how you can look at the black people in America, and we are labeled like, you know how the gentleman mentioned earlier how there's just white people and there's black people. That's how they label us. But when it comes from like our who we are as people, we have so many different, like we all have different roots. You know what I'm saying, of being black, but we're labeled and we have to be accustomed to the walks and the ways of how life is for us in America.
Yeah, that's the focus.
But when you look at it with a cultural perspective, we are some peaceful people, man.
We are.
Golly.
Unless provoked.
Bro, like we be chilling doing our own thing because like, again, like we, like they have all the Garifunas in, you know, I think they mentioned some in New York, right?
Yeah, New York, Los Angeles.
They got to put the shoes on. They got to put the big clothes on because that's just the custom size of it.
They're
but when they get together, like when they're targeted as individuals, and I'm just talking about black people in general, like targeted as individuals, we can always get looked at what the media has pushed us to be looked at as, and that's, you know, problematic and things of that nature. But the culture that we carry, like when we embrace it, we not that, bro. Like we just peaceful people. We be chilling.
We are.
We be chilling. We be doing our own thing.
Unless provoked.
Oh Lord.
You could have yours and still learn other things. It doesn't diminish who you are as a person. Right. In fact, it makes you a stronger person, a better person.
Yeah.
If you know who you really are, then you know where to go. You know your past, you know where you're coming from, you know where you're at today. Then you have a route. You already have a route traced, right? What was already programmed to disappear in the next 20 years, which is our language, our culture, I think it's going to last a little longer than that.
The more people who know who they are, the more people who embrace who they are, the more people who teach the world who they are. That is how culture lasts.
100%. And it's sad, man, because some things people try to keep off the media so they can keep it for them, like keep it longer, so they can embrace it longer. Because once you hit the media and, you know, it gets to the wrong eye view, you know, people know how to throw a curveball on certain environments, you know. So I understand that part of it too, but I think that people need to have recognize it.
Yeah,
people need to recognize it.
The hunter needs to stop telling the story. The lion needs to tell it.
Come on, bro. The hunter need to stop telling. I can repeat it too.
Repeat it.
The hunter need to stop telling the story, man.
Hold up, wait. Go, babe. Hold on. Wait, we gotta find
I'm just
our
saying,
quote.
bro.
What's
It's
our
like
quote?
That's fine. That's real talk.
What's our quote?
That's real talk.
Hold up. Where is it? Where is it? Now I know there's different ways that people say this quote.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Until the lions have their historians, tales of the hunt shall always glorify the hunter. Come on, lions. Get in this comment section and tell us what you love about your culture.
100%.
Tell the world about your culture.
Yep.
I always want my children, like my parents taught me, you are Garifuna. They would say, Garifuna Pugia, you know, you are Garifuna. You know, you're here in America, but don't forget your Garifuna. When we come and we migrate to any country, you know, it's when in Rome you do as the Romans. But then you lose a piece of yourself if you forget who you are. So it's very important for every culture, not just the Garifuna, but every culture in the world to just kind of get back, have that conversation with your grandparents and know your lineage, know your heritage, and preserve your culture.
Eso es lo que nuestros ancestros nos han heredado. Y eso es lo que Dios nos ha dado a nosotros, nuestra propia cultura. Tenemos lo nuestro y tenemos que conservarlo y tenemos que cuidarlo y tenemos que rescatarlo otra vez. Y tenemos una batalla tan grande que volver a rescatar lo que es nuestro. Y tenemos que hacerlo, y podemos hacerlo.
Oh, bro, that was nice. That was nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm big on seasons. I'm sorry, you want to go off?
Go ahead, babe.
I'm big on seasons, and I really truly feel like that there's a season for everything. Like there's one part in history where we was just suffering, and there's another part where we were just trying to find our way. Then there's another part where we were reinventing, and there's another part where we were reclaiming. And there's a season for everything. It could be that broad to your mindset, or you can simplify and understand where you are today, and understand how you can address certain situations based off the season you're walking in. Because not everything needs to be addressed, you know. But I'm big on that. I just want people to understand what type of season they're living in, what type of season they're walking in, and know how to handle certain situations presented to you, because it's not happening to you, it's happening for you, so you can do something.
Right.
In that purpose of whatever it is you're doing. Yeah.
Right. And don't just stand idle.
Nah.
You know, find out who you are.
Yeah.
Find out where your people come from. Who your people?
Hey, that's the question they used to ask us now.
Yeah.
When we pull up, they be like, who your people is?
Yeah, they still ask that question.
They do. They be like, you look just like, you show you're not related to certain, like, they do that. They do that.
Yeah, and here we do that because it's been passed down to do that. My grandmother told me a story, and it was about, they did that because of, you know, the people being sold, you know, to different plantations and not wanting to have children with your people.
Big facts.
Yeah.
Big facts.
That was a part of that reason. But
man, oh man, I'm glad you mentioned that.
The Garifuna culture, connecting the dots, connecting the roots with the branches, and we not all. It's not just about being black. We all have a story that needs to be told.
Gotta embrace who you are. Gotta embrace who you are, where you're going, where you're coming from.
Yes.
Gotta embrace what you like. Gotta embrace these things.
Yes.
Because if you don't, then again, you're gonna be just chilling. You're gonna be idle. You ain't gonna go nowhere.
And what's the good thing about it is, we all not just black. And a lot of our African family over in Africa don't know our story because they have been told things that are not true. So that is why we all need to really find out who we are and tell our story. We hope you guys enjoyed this video with us. Like this video, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell. We have enabled our super thanks if you like to support the channel that way, as well as our reaction request form is in our description box below. We'll see you soon.
Peace.